Well, welcome to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host. You can hear my show in two places, Monday through Friday from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN in Huntsville, and 1 hour from 10 until 11 on Talk 99.5 in Birmingham, the fastest hour in radio. With me, as always, back from her assignment, Mecca Music, the CEO of 256today.com. Smart news for smart people. And she's smart enough not to say something lame like, I'm not 65, when I tell people that it is her birthday and she is 65 years old. Mecca Music, thank you very much. Happy birthday.
I'm going to take that as a happy birthday greeting.
Okay.
That's the best I can do, I think.
Perfect. Let's move on and talk about some important things that are going on because nobody cares about that. So we will remind you, Jacob Morrison will be with us. He is the host of the Valley Labor Report. We'll talk to him about some UAW issues, some labor issues in the state of Alabama as well. And I've got a great parting shot for you about a mayor from Alabama that just is not getting the love he deserves. And I'm gonna give him that love when we get going into the parting shot. But for right now, let's go ahead and get to the 2-minute warning. All right, Mecca, I'm a pretty cold-hearted person. But this has really been bothering me for the greater part of a couple of weeks. Hearing all the things that have gone on over there on both October 7th in Israel and since in Gaza. This is a really troubling situation. I talked to people way smarter than I, and I asked them, I said, this is the closest we've been to World War in my lifetime. And they say, absolutely, there's no question about this. This is a real issue. Will this war spread, Mecca, and is the U.S. support unconditional? I'm not talking, Mecca, about college campuses and in the street.
Right.
I honestly could care less about what stupid 22-year-olds think. I'm sorry. I have a hard time giving a damn about that. But I'm talking about people who matter in Congress and things like that. Is that support unconditional? Is this going to spread?
Oh, listen, I think at this point it's impossible to predict exactly what's going to happen. I mean, there's just too many different factors at play. I think the support is definitely there. I think the people making decisions and the leaders, there is a support enough to get it done, I would say.
I just wonder, there's a lot of talk about what's going on with the different parts of the aid to Israel. Will we tie that to border security? Will we tie that to Ukraine? You're hearing Joe Biden talking about veto the aid and all these other things. And the humanitarian pause stuff is so silly. I mean, to argue that there needs to be like some sort of pause so they can do this, that, or the other. Look, there was a ceasefire in this situation up until October 7th. The people in Hamas, the Hamas fighters were able to lob rockets over and over and over again for years, and the Israelis didn't do anything. That was the end of the ceasefire, what happened on October 7th. And now they're saying they should stop. I just have a hard time believing they're going to actually do that.
Well, and I mean, you're asking if this will escalate, is it's going to spread. A lot of people point to Iran's involvement. Is it going, if they are directly involved, then yes. I mean, that's kind of the tipping point. If they continue to be involved by proxy, it's kind of wishy-washy. Are they involved or are they not? Iran's
behavior has worked out perfectly for them. They have gotten Bahrain, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and other countries to basically say, yeah, us playing with Israel, we're not doing that right now. And that's exactly what they wanted out of this, so they got exactly what they want. Let's move on to some domestic stuff. Tommy Tuberville versus the GOP. This has been months coming. There have been very little murmurs inside the Republican Party in the United States Senate. They didn't like what Tommy Tuberville was doing, holding back nominations and promotions for the DOD. The media has been very hard on Tommy Tuberville on this, which I think only kind of steeled his spine a little bit. And now you've got people inside the Republican Party taking to the floor of the Senate this week and slamming Tuberville over this. People like Joni Ernst. You had Sullivan from Alaska, Lindsey Graham from South Carolina. Mitch McConnell didn't go out on the floor, but he's one that has a problem with this as well. Is this a serious effort here? Can they get 9 Republicans to come around and say to Democrats, okay, let's go through and do these, change the rules, circumvent Tuberville here?
I think at this point, it's much more likely than when it started. I think both sides, it has become very tiresome. I think people are very, very frustrated, very annoyed. But then again, do they want to go to they might not want to give up that power, like to change the rules. And you have to think about that too. So
you change it now, you change it forever.
Exactly. So I'm really not sure if it's going to go that far.
What I find most interesting about this is that Tommy Tuberville, in his vast power as the senior senator from the state of Alabama, is now giving generals heart attacks. And they're suggesting, I mean, I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but that's what they're suggesting. Like they said, and it was in the reporting, that he was having to work longer hours, and because of that, when he ran around an exercise around his house, that's what caused his heart attack. That's what they're suggesting. And then, of course, they say, well, we're not suggesting that this is the thing, but we just did 20 minutes on this.
I mean, you can point out to the more ridiculous examples. You can,
and
you are. But there is a burden.
There's
put
a
on
burden,
these
no question
people.
about it. Absolutely.
And there is
no question. But you know what? I never hear the name Chuck Schumer mentioned in these reports. I talk about it, and I hear it elsewhere on some places. But when it comes to the straight news coverage of this, and I use straight news coverage of this, you very rarely hear the name Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer has the ability to move these people forward on his own. Tuberville's blocked some of those because he disagrees with them. That's different than the mass block he's done. So I think the coverage of this has been a little unfair, and I think a negotiation and trying to come up with something in good faith might be an issue, but he's still never talked to Chuck Schumer. He's had a very short conversation with Lloyd Austin. This has been going on for months. And I think that's really bad.
What about the fellow Republicans, though? Are they going to,
Let me liken it to something that's going on in Alabama. When Alabama passed the abortion ban in Alabama, we sat here and there was some talk of, well, maybe they'll come back afterwards and clean it up. You know why? Because they said that's exactly what they'll do. They'll come back and put the rape and incest exemptions and things like that. Ask them today. Ask who's going to go down to Montgomery and offer up the bill that says exemptions for rape and incest. What Republican in Alabama is going to do that? And the answer is no one. So they might think that if they take this position and they're pro-life on abortion, they are essentially okaying it. So that I think that keeps some Republicans at bay. Not all of them, but some of them. I mean, I'm a pro-choice Republican. They exist in the Senate as well. Are there 9 of them that are willing to do this? I don't like this because it's a violation of the law, in my opinion. That's my problem. And if you can do that, then, like you said, you can do it on other issues, and that's a problem. But we'll have to move on and talk about that some other day. Let's talk about District 2 here. I always ask this question since we've been talking about this. And Mecca loves this story because she loves redistricting. It's the greatest thing in the world that she said would be so exciting. And she was right. She was right after it being very boring for a long time.
Look at all the craziness that has happened.
Right.
Look at it. Can you splice that clip in when you brought a pillow out and pretended you were going to sleep?
Because it was so boring? Well, Mecca, then let me just ask you this question.
Yes.
Did I miss something in the redrawing of this? Did they make it a statewide district? Because
if you look at the district, though, it is pretty wild.
Oh, my God. I don't mean statewide, like across the state. I mean around the entire state. Because we've got Anthony Daniels talking about running for it. Multiple people, Republican and Democrats from Birmingham.
Anthony's from there.
Well, of course. I'm just saying he doesn't live there.
Not at the moment.
And ideally, you would have people from there. And again, I like Anthony Daniels both how he's operated as House Minority Leader and personally.
Yeah.
I like Anthony Daniels very much. But it's not even about him.
Yeah.
But you had Barry Moore thinking about running from the South. You had Anthony Daniels running from the North. Plenty of people from Birmingham. Are there any people in this district? I mean, it really is the question I have. Does anyone live here, or is this a statewide district now?
So let me tell you why this is so amazing and exciting, and why there's so much interest
Do I need to get my pillow out?
Don't get your pillow out. Don't get your pillow out. But why it's so interesting, though, is because this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There's no incumbent. This is a new district. There's no identity for it. You're the person who can give it that identity, or the candidate, the person who wins it and stuff. It's a blank slate with so much opportunity. I'd be excited, too.
And you know what else it is?
What?
For these elected officials, it's a free shot. It's also a free shot.
Exactly.
Because you get to take a shot at this, and you don't have to give up your current position. Anthony Daniels can go in there and run for this, and if he doesn't win, by the way, I've had multiple people tell me he's the favorite.
Yeah.
They also told me, stop talking about him switching parties. The only person I hear this from is you. And I'm like, I know, because I'm spreading that rumor. I mean, that's...
You do not. I gave you grief over that.
No, but someone actually told me. I didn't make that up, but I did go out and talk to people about it. And they're like, hey, you're spreading this rumor. And I'm like, yes, that's literally exactly what I'm doing. I'm spreading this rumor. But either way, they get a free shot, and you can lose and go back and be the House Minority Leader or whatever else you want to be, and you get to take a free shot on goal here. So, and plus, if you win it and they don't redraw it again, it's yours.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You put your stamp on it, and it's now yours. And here's the other thing. These people don't even know they're in the district. I mean, how many people know what district they're in when it hasn't changed or hasn't been around in forever?
I've always known what district I live in.
Okay, you.
Is that
okay, us. But for the most part, I wouldn't say a lot of people do. So this is exciting.
Yeah, I think Alabama's residency law needs to change, personally. Maybe you should have to live in the district for like a year before you serve it. I don't know. Call me crazy. All right, lastly, Let's move on. Mike Rogers. You heard a lot about Mike Rogers. Smackdown from Sacktown. This guy has represented Sacks, Alabama, and he's the guy who almost choked out Matt Gaetz there in the. I say that, and really, if you watch the video, he's actually getting choked in it. But either way, he went after Matt Gaetz when the whole McCarthy thing was going on the first go-round. And then there was some talk that maybe he had started working with Democrats in order to elect a coalition speaker. Now, I believe what was actually happening is they were saying, hey, come around with us, and we'll elect a Republican that you guys might be okay with. I believe that happened. Denials be damned. I believe that happened. But there was also some talk that he was going to help get Nancy Pelosi elected speaker and all this other silly stuff. So they were talking about there'd be a potential challenge to this. Well, I'll tell you what. You know who thought there was going to be a challenge to this? Mike Rogers, because they went out and got Donald Trump's endorsement this week for him to come in and says, I give my full and total endorsement. He gives the whole spiel. And I think that completely seals the deal. We don't need a minute and 3 seconds on this. Does it seal the deal completely?
It absolutely does, but I would argue that I don't know if he even really needed it. I mean,
it's not, but see, sometimes it's not necessarily about needing it. It's about keeping people from even getting in the race.
No, I understand that. But even if more people had gotten in the race, maybe whoever, I still think that he's safe.
Okay, now we do need the rest of time. Because if I'm Mike Rogers, I don't want these people in the race, because here's what happens. You know Donald Trump, right? You get a bunch of people in the race. Donald Trump one day sees their 7-foot-tall husband and goes, that guy's tall. I think I'll endorse that person. You never know what's going to happen.
Tell him what you're talking about.
Well, I'm just talking about like Katie Britt and Wesley Britt. I'm not saying that's how it went down.
Former football player, in case you aren't
Trump
familiar.
was very enamored with the idea that
Wesley
Britt was a giant human being.
He is impressive.
He's huge. I mean, there's no question about it. But my point is this.
Okay, I agree with you. I think you're making a very good point.
Yeah,
I still think Rogers is very popular in his district. I think.
If I'm Mike Rogers, I want that endorsement.
I know. I'm not saying it does. It's not good. It's not a good thing. Okay. I'm just saying I still think Mike Rogers. And
he would have won. He probably would have won anyway. But you don't want to leave anything to chance. Okay, you just don't want to do that. And I think
I think we're both right.
Okay, it's a huge deal. All right, when we come back, Jacob Morrison will be with us. He is with the Valley Labor Report. We'll talk about some labor issues with him. Stay tuned. You're watching and listening to Alabama Politics This Week.